Habibullah last heard from his grandfather more than 2 weeks ago, on the day the Myanmar military's operations reached his relative's village in Mongdo, 100 kilometers northwest from Sittwe.
My grandfather called and he was crying, and he said the soldiers were arresting people, burning houses and shooting at villages. He said he was really scared and going to run away.
He's since heard from other villagers that his grandfather may have escaped to Bangladesh. His uncle and cousin, however, are feared dead. People in Sittwe haven't been affected by the military operations, but Habibullah says he fears harassment from local police and asks that we don't reveal his identity. The UN considers the Rohingya one of the world's most persecuted minorities. In Myanmar, they're seen as illegal migrants and have few rights, despite the fact many can trace their roots back for generations. More than 100,000 people, mostly Rohingya, still live in camps across the state, since intercommunal riots killed 200 people in 2012. The UN says another 30,000 people were displaced in the latest violence in Mongdo, amid reports of abuse committed by security forces, allegations the government denies. There have been growing calls from the international community for Myanmar to allow full access into the area affected by the violence. The government has so far resisted. In fact, the opposite appears to be happening. Many international aid workers say they've had to leave because their travel permits have not been renewed. The chief minister says officials are trying to resolve the situation in Rakhine.
Our government is handling all the problems in Rakhine State fiercely and precisely. Precisely means we deal with terrorism in accordance with the rule of law.
Former UN Secretary Kofi Annan leads a group of international observers to Mongdo this week. He's now chairman of the Advisory Commission on Rakhine State, set up by the government to look into conflict prevention and reconciliation. The group's last visit in September was met with protests by the local Rakhine community, a reflection of the resentment that exists against the Rohingya. For many in the camps, life has not got any better, and they don't expect that to change anytime soon.